Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pig City Podcast. It is what some are calling Revenge Narrative Day. I'm one of your hosts, Zachary Ivy, and beside of me, with the beautiful hat on, by the way, Alexander Walker. So today we're going to be talking about the games for this weekend, but let's get into these matchups. We have the Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl rematch, Ben Johnson versus the Lions, Joe Flacco back in Baltimore, McCarthy-Penix national title rematch, and we have DK Metcalf back facing the Seahawks. A lot of storylines, a lot of things to get into, but let's first rewind the tapes just a little bit, Alexander, because you and I both went 2-1 with our Pick City picks last week.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got burned by the Bengals. It'd been a very great week for me because I did a parlay with my picks. I excluded the Eagles one because, yes, I told y'all to pick it, but that line was a little scary. And then as soon as that game started out, I was so glad I excluded it. And then I was like, dude, I feel really good about mine. And then the Bengals game was just miserable. I'll tell you what, Bengals got one more time to burn me, and I'm done with them. I'm out on them.
Hey, I have a week two where I'm done with you pick of the week, so we'll get to that in a second. But Alexander, you also last week went 4 for 4 with your anytime touchdown props. Your sprinkles didn't hit, but your 4 for 4, that's impressive to go 4 for 4 on anytime touchdowns. But so I know you're sitting pretty nicely going into this week. Is there anything you want to recap before we move on? Because the NFL, it is week to week, and the past is the past, but we got to keep going. We got to keep moving. We got to go 1-0 every week as a podcast, you know?
I mean, the only thing I want to recap is outside your week 1 anytime touchdown, we've been on a heater. We're 5 for 5 now as a group. I mean,
Yeah.
You pitched Kraft, and if you're hopefully watched our Thursday pod, and you saw that Kraft got the anytime touchdown.
Yeah, we started recording this right after he scored because I just had to, I should have just acted like this was beforehand and be like, I guarantee he scores tonight. But we're an honest pod, okay? But I mean, he had a monster night. Again, just to remind you, we will pick 3 games from the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock slate on Sunday. We get to choose any 3, got to pick the spread on those, and then we'll give our primetime picks at the end, and those videos will be posted separately as well. So, Alexander, I'm going to let you bat lead off today, and you're going to tell me, was your first pick for the pick of the week?
My first pick for the pick of the week, the one that if I know you, I'm about positive it's your pick of the week, one of your pick of the weeks as well, and it's New England, bro. I'm New England against Miami. Miami is favored at 1.5. Like, did Vegas watch the same games that we watched week 1? Because Miami looked awful, or is the Colts just good? I don't know. I guess we'll find out, but I love New England taking them. Like, I love it. I just don't see anything in Miami, and maybe I'm completely wrong, and this game burns me. I don't know. It has the makings to burn. But from what I saw week 1 of what the Colts could do to Miami, New England should easily be able to do that same stuff. They have the same type of weapons. Travion Henderson might get his first touchdown in this game. That's like the type of vibes I'm getting from that type of game.
Okay. Well, I'll jump in there. Listen, man. I think you were missing a key factor. You're saying, did Vegas watch the game? I think Vegas also watched the Patriots because they couldn't do anything against Las Vegas.
But I think the Raiders might be low-key good.
I don't know, man. Here's the thing. You can think that all you want to, but you know how high I was on the Patriots coming to the year. And after 1 week, I'm still there. That's why this is my week 2, or I'm done with you pick of the week. New England Patriots, Patriots fans, the Bostonians, win this game and cover for your boy, and I'm still on the team. You lose this week, I'm out. I'm done with the Patriots. I take back everything I said preseason. I'm completely done with you. That is your week 2, or I'm done with you pick of the week. Thank you, Patriots. I want to thank you in advance. Drake may have a big day with his legs. Bet his over on the rushing, okay? Not putting that in my official picks, but I really, really like that. He's going to run wild. So it's a weak, soft team. I think the Dolphins' offense may look a little better, but hey, Vrabel's going to have the boys ready, and the Dolphins being, like you said, a favorite is kind of insane. So love that. And since that's my pick as well, I guess since we're not going to go snake, it goes back to you for your second pick, as that is also my first pick of the week.
All right, we're not going snake. All right.
Nah, no snakes, bro. No snakes in the grass. What?
Do you want me to do confidence level or just go down my list? Because I have my 1 o'clock to the top, and then I have a 4 o'clock as well in my week 2 picks.
Buddy, you do whatever you want to. This is just you pick your next pick, and you can tell why you picked it if you want to. I'm just currently sweating out this game that they don't cover because I can't miss another primetime heartbreaker. But anyways, go ahead and make your pick.
All right. My next pick is the Jets to cover against Buffalo. Buffalo's favored it at 6.5. Raiders, or not Raiders, God almighty, I said Vegas, then I said Raiders. Just ignore all that. The
Ignore.
Steelers last week are supposed to have a top defense. They brought in all these Hall of Famers, and the Jets could do what they wanted on offense against them. We just watched Lamar Jackson and the Ravens do what they wanted until the fumble, and then it all just came crashing down on them. But the Jets, they have a running quarterback as well. They have a great running back. They have a number one receiver. And honestly, I would argue Garrett Wilson's way better than Zay Flowers. So if you're telling me if they watch film close enough, there's a good chance they should easily be able to cover this game. It's going to be a close one. And that's why I like the Jets to cover.
And also to clarify, we may have done a bad job there, but the Patriots, we said that, but the line on the Jets game, you did say is 6.5, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
6.5
sorry.
for Buffalo.
That's on me. Oh, yeah, I remember you saying it that way now. But you did say it was for Buffalo, and that's who's going to win. I'm not touching that game. If I would, I'd go Buffalo, but I don't like that pick from you. But hey, you're on fire, so keep doing you, brother. My next pick, I'm stalling here. I'm gonna save my best pick for last. I'm gonna go with the team that you're talking about, that they couldn't stop the Jets at all. I think they were just mind blowing that Justin Fields looked the best he ever has as a pro. Perfect game plan from the Jets, running around throwing. But I think people forgot the Steelers still got a bad man at quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, vintage throws. He gets the ball out quick. Arthur Smith getting the tight ends involved in the run game, short game, long game. Nice little trio in the backfield. Caleb Johnson working in maybe a little bit more this game, even if not. Steelers are going to score enough to beat the Seahawks and cover the 3 points. You know, I'm already kind of low on the Seahawks. They had almost a game-winning drive at the end, but at the end of the day, Sam Darnold's not walking into Pittsburgh and winning that game, and I think Steelers are good enough to cover the 3. I actually asked a Steelers fan today how confident they feel in that, and, you know, Steelers fans, they can kind of go either way with, like, being cautious or whatever. He said, yeah, that line's too low. So if a Steelers fan's feeling that good based on what they've had the past couple years, I'm going to trust that as well. So let's go. Get the terrible towels out, boys.
All right. Anytime touchdown for the Jets Buffalo game. I like Brees Lightning. Dude, I think he's going to get in the end zone, and it's a very confident pick for me there.
Yeah. I mean, you have, if it goes badly, you'll have a Jets problem. If it goes rightly, you'll have great insight on the Jets. It really just depends on their outcome. So that's the way that is. All right.
I'll let you do the next one.
You don't want to make your last pick?
My last pick, you'll probably have insight that you'll want to give as well. So I'll let you go yours.
I'm going to say this, and it's week 2, okay? And Alexander, you know, in general, I'm not going to talk about like monetary gains or things like that. I'm not going to talk about frugalness or excessive spending. And I also want to keep the phrase 2 words of be responsible. But ladies and gentlemen, the Pig City podcast prides itself on giving as accurate as takes as we can have. We're not going to be perfect. 60% was insane last year. We were 63%. Absurd. Here's what I want you to understand. This game I'm about to give you is the most confident I have been in a regular season game, not involving the Eagles, obviously, because there's bias there. This is the most confident I've been in a regular season game since we've been recording this for 3 years now. Officially, for the past year, we've really been doing it. And that is the Denver Broncos going into Indianapolis. They're 1.5 point favorites on the road. I don't care if the roof's open, if the roof's closed. Bo Nix and the offense looked a little incompetent last week. I love it. The Colts look perfect. Daniel Jones, NFL history, scoring on every single drive. I love it. Who are you going to throw to? What are you going to do? That game was more about the Dolphins than it was the Colts, and everybody's going to see that this week. And maybe that influenced my last pick a little bit with the Patriots. But I want to guarantee you, I can't say guarantee, I want to strongly encourage you to empty them out any extra you have and put it on the Denver Broncos to cover this week. I want to put everything I got from Tucker Craft, the Packers, everything on this game. This is my careful pick of the week.
Everything extra you have?
Yes.
Listen, I'm high on the Broncos, but I also am higher than most on the Colts. And I think they're not getting some of the respect they deserve. But, I mean, it's basically where the line's at.
This line is giving them respect.
To pick them.
This line is giving them respect.
Yeah. So, basically, it comes down who do you think really is going to win the game. So,
Sean Payton.
I don't mind it.
Bo Nix.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, if the Colts won, I wouldn't be surprised. But if you're a Bronco fan, that's not what you need. You need to take advantage while you can, because there's a good chance Chiefs start out 0-2. Man, Chargers play division this week, but I don't know.
Listen, you picked the Broncos to be, like, the 1 seed in that division, so you
They
obviously
have to
still
win this
believe in
game.
them. You still believe in them? Well, no, but I don't want people to think you're just a Broncos hater. I think you're just worried about how confident I am, and that's a dangerous situation, and I get it. I understand that, and I'm leaning even more. I'm doubling down.
I mean, if you're that confident, I mean, you got an anytime touchdown you're willing to put with it for the
No,
people?
because that's the thing. Bo Nick's just gonna throw to whoever's there. They might dump it to Harvey. They might give it to, heck, McLaughlin. I mean, he might not even play. They're gonna be feeding J.K. Dobbins. It doesn't matter. They're going to put the ball in the end zone, and more importantly, the Colts aren't scoring probably more than 13 points this game.
So
Don't bet
people
on
need to
don't bet
bet
on
the
that.
under?
Don't bet on no, don't bet on that part.
They don't
Just
need to bet
trust
the
me.
under?
Just trust me. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Because, man, I'm telling you, it doesn't like yeah, egg on my face if this one's wrong. This is the first time this year I feel this confident. In week 2, I
I'm gonna be
love it.
honest with you. I feel like you missed one. As you are a fellow Eagles fan,
Huh.
how the heck did you not go with me for pick of the week for Philadelphia to take it to Kansas City? Philadelphia is 1.5 point favorites on the road. I get that. But it's Kansas City. Y'all saw what we did to them last time. Listen, AJ Brown, he already came out. Everybody was like, I saw some of the media where they're like, oh man, he's just got to be so upset. Like he only got the ball thrown to him one time last game. He was like, dude, they were running zone. Like every single snap, I was basically double teamed. Like our game plan, once that happened, like I'm still making an impact being out there because they're double teaming me every single snap. The problem is Kansas City's not going to do that to us because they know what would happen if that goes down. That allows what happened last week, Hurts to be able to run, Barkley to just get going. And that's another thing. Barkley's going to get going in this game. We're going to come out firing and we're going to take it to Kansas City. Kansas City's without their top receiver. Their other receiver, he's dealing with a shoulder injury. He's questionable. Like, what are they going to do? Throw to Travis Kelsey, who wipes out his own player week 1? Like, dude can't even run the proper route and ends up colliding with his own player. Like, come on. Like, give me Eagles all day. They're going to take it to them. I love this pick. This is my favorite pick. I couldn't believe the line was this close, honestly.
Yeah, and I don't really have a defense for not picking it other than just, like, again, not to get too
Felt
much in
two
the weeds.
buys.
No, not to get too much in the weeds, but, like, this is not a shot at you in any way. Like, I wanted to challenge myself with making a 3rd pick because if I thought there was a chance you wouldn't have picked it, I 100% would have, just because I knew we would talk about it more. I'm not worried. I'll tell you a pick I really like in this game, if you wanna do a random prop, and that's
Ooh.
Yuchi to have a sack. Great pass rush last week, insane pressure. He's gonna come out, run straight in right into Mahomes. So if you're into that kinda weird type of betting, you can. But I'm just excited about this game. I'm excited about the game plan, and there's kind of a weird vibe about the Eagles because I think it was the first game and so much football happened since then, like, I didn't really hear anybody talking about the Eagles other than, like, Spitgate, and that kinda went away fast too. But I think people are forgetting how good this offense really is and can be. Yes, Saquon had, like, 60 yards, but so did Hurts. They still had 120 yards rushing together. So, there's delays, there's whatever, but, I mean, the Chiefs were embarrassing the Super Bowl, right? They're gonna defend their turf and blah, blah, blah. No, the Chiefs are gonna be 0-2, and then everybody's gonna be like, "They're still the Chiefs, they're still the Chiefs," and then they're gonna beat the Giants, and they'll be back. I don't need to talk anymore about the Eagles Chiefs because that was still the greatest night probably that I've had as a sports fan. Definitely.
Sure.
Yeah, shouts out to your family also for, letting me be there. So, all right. Yeah, go Birds. I don't even have a whole lot more to say about that game other than just under, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Sorry. I don't mean that. All right, Alexander. That was our 3 picks of the week. Again, I had the New England Patriots to cover or to beat the Dolphins, who are favored 1.5. I have the Denver Broncos 1.5 point favorites and the Pittsburgh Steelers as my 3-point favorite at home.
For my picks of the week, have New England as well to is it cover the yeah,
Yeah, that was a
to
bad
cover
one.
the spread that Miami is 1.5 point favorites. Then I have the Jets to cover the 6.5 point favorites of Buffalo. And then give me Philly. They're the favorites at 1.5, but I have them covering against Kansas City.
Yeah. Well, the reason I got stumbled up on New England also is because we don't get extra points for picking money line, but like I want them money line. I don't really care if they cover or not. I want them to win outright. But for the
Yeah.
purpose of this, if they covered, they cover. All right. So let's get into the rest of the games this week. Again, we do a quick little rundown of each. And if you're a team and you're listening to the recap and you're like, dude, you didn't talk about my team that much, it wasn't noteworthy enough. We'll hit it on the run through, but we're going to kind of go through these. So Alexander, the first game we have on our docket is an NFC East matchup, sorry. And that is the Giants traveling to Jerry World. The Cowboys are a 4.5 point favorite who put up a fight against the defending world champs, and the Giants look like an absolute shell of themselves. And as we've seen Washington play another game, it kind of shows to me how bad the Giants really are. So I do like the Cowboys in this game. I'm not going to make money off of that, but this is one of my anytime touchdowns. So I guess I kind of am trying to at the same time. And that is George Pickens to find the end zone. Last week, he had a couple of those plays downfield where he's getting pass interference. I know how the Cowboys are. I know how Dak is. They want to get him involved as well. George Pickens will score in this game. So I hope that you are already listening to me and you've take the money from Kraft, put it on Pickens, and I'll have one more touchdown pick here later on. So I'm only gonna have 3 this week unless I add one last second. Yeah, I think last week they were really focused on proving they're a threat in the red zone. They don't have to do that anymore. Everybody's already aware of what the Cowboys can do inside the 5-yard line with no Jalen Carter because he got baited into spitting on somebody because their quarterback's an absolute coward who will never be anything. All right, sorry.
Yeah, when I look at this one, I'm with you in the thinking of the freaking Giants just look like a shell of themselves. It didn't look good. It looked like Russ was just throwing the moon ball like just every single play, just hoping somebody came down with it. It didn't look like a fluent offense. And Dallas looks like they got some grit on this year. And with that, yes, if I had to pick one of the sides in this one, I would pick Dallas at 4.5.
Yeah, and to be clear, we don't have to pick the spread necessarily on these. We just kind of talk about the games, but I'm just saying I do like that. I would have probably done it if it wasn't. Any other thoughts on that one, Alexander?
Nah.
So this next game, I'm gonna intro really quickly. I know this is a game you were flirting with, even with the spread, and that is the Cleveland Browns taking on the Baltimore Ravens, who the Ravens are 11.5 point favorites at home after just a brutal, heartbreaking Week 1 loss, winning 40-25 with under 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Somehow lose the game to Josh Allen. This seems like an obvious bounce back dominate point, but I'm gonna throw it to you.
Yeah, this one I was that line, even with it high, still I really kind of liked it. This game to me has the makings of a blowout, a thrashing. I have Baltimore just running away with it. I mean, I have a feeling they're basically going to they're going to be able to do whatever the heck they want to do. And then we're going to see their defense bounce back, have a great week this week. Like, they might pull starters before it even gets to the fourth quarter.
Okay.
But with that said, with their starters, one of my anytime touchdowns of the week, granted, you're probably not going to make that much. If you put it with the rest of them, you're going to get some. And that's Derrick Henry. I feel like it's just a lock in this matchup.
So you're just adding him into other stuff, basically. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I obviously like the Ravens in this game. I wish I could say I was like getting up for this game or excited about this game just because AFC North rivalry, but like even when I did the little intro thing, Flacco going back to Baltimore, it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't move the needle. It doesn't get me excited. This is going to be like a lower tier game for me as far as TV placement where we're going to be watching. So we'll keep the score updated, but yeah, not going to get a lot of love from me in this one. So yeah, I think Baltimore kills them as obvious as possible. There's a little bit of a hypothesis that the Ravens don't really know how to close games because against bad teams they dominate, and then against good teams they don't play enough close games to win in the end. I didn't come up with that, but whatever. I think it's a bad narrative. All right, I'll do the next one, and then you can start with the next few. We have San Francisco going into New Orleans, and they are a 3-point favorite on the road. No Brock Purdy, out 2 to 5 weeks, it looks like. No George Kittle. No, any backup running back that's not named Brian Robinson has been injured, numerous times. Jawan Jennings, not available. Ricky Pearsall, again, healthy. Christian McCaffrey, healthy. I'm saying that because it seems like at any point we're going to get another notification about another 49er being injured. But I still love the Niners in this one, even as 3-point favorites on the road. The Saints are abysmal. And the 49ers defense is good. It's formidable. Robert Saleh, he is cooking. They're tackling well. To cover 3, I know it's Mac Jones, and I've never believed in Mac Jones, but I believe in Shanahan more than I don't believe in Mac Jones. And I don't see the Saints being able to score much at all. So unless you think the 49ers are just going to get shut down by the Saints defense, I think this is a really good pick if you want a spread. But definitely money line, give me the 49ers. I am worried about the 49ers, though. I've officially reached the worried.
I mean, before Purdy was ruled out, this was probably going to be one of my locks of the week. Then when the injury happened, I was like, do I really want to bet on Mac Jones?
Fair point, actually.
So that's what kind of scared me off of it. But like you kind of said, like I do like San Fran in this game. And I think that just has to do with more of I don't believe in the Saints at all. I feel like even an injured 49ers team, like if you're wanting to compete later on in the year, like this is a game you can't lose. Like this means a lot to your season, I feel like. And with all that said, I mean, another anytime touchdown I'm throwing in, but by itself, probably not going to get you much. It's Christian McCaffrey. I mean, if they're going to win this game, McCaffrey's got to go off. Honestly, like, if you want to make money, do a freaking 2-touchdown bet for McCaffrey.
I don't mind that. Yeah, I'm not going to touch on that, but yeah, I agree with your overall philosophy that, like, if they're going to compete later, they have to win this one. So, yeah, I mean, if they lose this, I'm out on the 49ers altogether. The Saints are horrible. Like, I know that's not a bold take, but they're actually horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, our next one on our docket is Jacksonville going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati is 3.5-point favorites. Jacksonville looked pretty good last week, but they played Carolina, where Cincinnati looked really bad. But you could argue they played a division rival. Those type of games, just being a division rival, some reason, it just works out to where somehow they're just closer than they should be. But it looked ugly for Cincinnati, which is why it kind of surprised me that Cincinnati's 3.5-point favorites. I mean, I do like Cincinnati. If I was just doing a money line, I would bet Cincinnati. But like I said, they burned me last week. I wasn't touching them this week. They got to show me that they can get something going. It just was too bad last week to even think about betting on them this week.
Yeah, I like the Jags in this game. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're frisky. I like Walker. I like how they get after, but they have Joe Burrow, obviously the Bengals. And if you're asking me Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow, who do I trust more? Obviously, the answer is Joe Burrow. But if you're asking me, do I trust Joe Burrow in week 2 more than Trevor Lawrence? I guess it's Joe Burrow. I mean, realistically, the Bengals should have lost. The Browns missed extra points and field goals. Like the fact that they won is kind of like maybe they're gonna flip it around quicker. I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah, I'm staying away from this, but I do like the Jags to be very frisky in this game. However, Alexander, we have now reached my second anytime touchdown, or my third and final anytime touchdown pick of the week, and that is Jamar Chase to find the end zone this week. He's too good. He's too talented. Get him the ball. Joe, I don't know what was going on last game. I don't want to cry and be sympathetic about your offensive line except for you, so you're not going to cry about it. So be about it. Throw to your best friend, your best buddy, and complete my trifecta of Kraft, Pickens, and Chase. I do feel really good about that. I also like to see Chase Brown a little more involved. I'm not saying prop-wise, but just in the game flow, in the game plan. The Bengals last game was literally why I was out of them last year. It just felt like this is the same thing again. Like reminiscent almost of the Bears. I was just like, why do you think this is going to be any different this year? Obviously a higher level of that, but just it's insanity. Again, same thing over and over, expecting a different result. This team is very frustrating. So like you said, for their sake and everyone watching, maybe they'll just be like, oh, it's just a week 1 thing. They're fine now. Hopefully. For the betterment of the NFL, I hope the Bengals come out and dominate and absolutely torch them.
Yeah, I agree. Next up on our docket is the Rams, their favorite on the road at 5.5 against Tennessee. I love the Rams, but I also think this Tennessee team is got some fight to them. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I thought Denver, who they played last week, was just going to take it to them. Their defense, I don't know if their defense looked that good, looked like they were ready to compete, to fight, or if it was just more Denver was just sluggish. That's where I guess we'll find out this week, because even though the Rams didn't score that much last week, they showed a lot of grit, and I think a lot of that had to do with the Texans defense. The Texans defense looked mean and hungry. So I think this game, that line, it feels about perfect of a line. But if we're doing just straight up money line, I like the Rams for sure. With the line, I'd go kind of back and forth, but I think I still would lean the Rams. But this will be my fourth anytime touchdown pick, Kyron Williams. Dude just knows how to find the end zone. this has a making of a game where he's going to find the end zone.
And listen, I'm going to get pre-mad at the haters. I'm going to address that before I even talk about the game. I already see the comments. Oh, this guy's so bold. He picked McCaffrey, Henry, and Kyron to score. Yeah, but that's the point. Like, it's a good philosophy because if you put them together, it can increase it. By themselves is not. And he's telling y'all to do them together. So he'll do them together and individually for the record. But yeah, as far as this game, I think Legarius, is that right? They like do weird matching stuff with him for Tennessee. And when he came out towards the end of the half, Bo Nix throws an absolute dot to Cortland Sutton in the corner of the end zone. Beautiful pass. That kind of was the game to me because it ends up being a 1-point game. And that was really the play that was like they can make this play and the Titans can't. Cam Ward had some great throws. Their offense isn't fully flowing. It's not functional. I just don't think they're good enough. What we talked about last week, I love the Rams' young front. Like, I love how they get after you. The Rams have some issues on defense, if we're being honest, though. And I think the Titans can have a few breakaway plays to make it maybe a little interesting. But I think the Rams just played a great defense week 1. And I think the Titans are getting a little bit of respect for being a good tackling team. But I definitely think the Rams win this game, but I don't like the numbers on this one. This is one of those where I'm glad we don't have to pick every game. Because again, for the record, I put it on everything we bet on. Yeah. I'm excited to see Cam Ward, though. It's going to take a while before I don't want to watch him.
He looked good week 1. Like, he didn't look great, but considering he's going up, in my opinion, against the top defense week 1, it wasn't that bad of a start.
No, he had some good throws. He had some good movement. I mean, he was under duress and moving and backed up in his own territory for the majority of the game. That's what the Broncos do to you in your first game ever. So, yeah, I'm more in on Cam Ward than I even was before week 1. So, I'll probably be the same way after this one.
Yep.
Puka, shouts out, by the way. Absolute warrior. We talked about it in the recap, but I love Puka.
Yeah. Next up on the docket, we have Chicago going to Detroit. Detroit is 6-point favorites. And I didn't go ahead and tell you, I didn't pick this game because it's a division game. And Detroit they look like they haven't clicked yet with their new OC. It didn't look great last week for them. And Chicago, they showed in the first half of last week, they looked good. And then kind of Caleb fell back into Caleb's ways towards the end of the game, and it kind of unfolded for him. But I expect this one to be a close one, and that's why I didn't want to touch it. And it's going to be a dogfight. I'm curious to see how Detroit comes out because to me, this is a game where, like, you got to be thinking, like, as a team, like, we got to show that we weren't made just from Ben Johnson being here as our OC, that we can do stuff without him, that we're still a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, and we didn't just throw it all away because we just let Ben Johnson walk.
Sorry, I want to apologize for being on my phone for that. I have a Commanders correspondent here who he's reeling right now, but yeah. Anyways, tough loss for Alexander. This line originally I saw at 5, I swear, but then I looked again, it was 5.5, and then by the time we are doing it at 6, and obviously the money's going in there, but Dan Campbell after a loss, facing Caleb Williams. That's the storyline to me. It's not Ben Johnson facing the Lions. Ben Johnson can be a great play caller all he wants. He can be a great offensive mind. He could end up being a great head coach. That is not a well-oiled machine. And honestly, I guess credit to Ben Johnson. He took like semi-accountability afterwards. Like, yeah, that doesn't seem like it was a well-coached football team. Well, so I guess he's like saying like, yeah, it's on me, but also like, just say it's on you. Don't make us have to like take the extra step. I don't know.
Was it on him? We saw him in the second half when Caleb came out and threw 3 straight incompletions, and he's just on the sideline just shaking his head like, what is this? Like, that is not what you're supposed to be doing, dog. Like, the reads are there. You just got to execute the throw.
Well, the throw to DJ Moore where it's a layup touchdown and he sells it. Yes, that's not on him. Obviously, if the quarterback can't make that pass, it's not on the – but the head coach should be more responsible for things that happen all preseason. How many pre-snap problems do they have? Getting the calls in, guys having pre-snap penalties, not knowing where they're supposed to be, being out of play. Like, I don't know, maybe he's just got to be a little more harsh. He needs like a aggressor to be a part of it. But like, I agree with you. I'm not saying he called a bad game overall, but I don't know, man. It's game 1 of the season as a new head coach. I'm not going to like kill Ben Johnson here, but you know who is going to kill Ben Johnson? Dan Campbell, and he's going to love every second of it. So all you haters, the most hate we got all last week was your clip about saying that Dan Campbell, he's a bad man and don't sleep on Dan Campbell. Oh, who's asleep now? Yeah, again, they posted after the game was over, and that's fine. That's fair. But as I said to one commenter, Jimmy sent me a message and he said, "Do you approve of this?" I said, "Yeah, dude, that's fine. Go ahead and send it." I don't know if you saw this. Jimmy said something to the effect of like, "Yeah, well, they're even more asleep now. Definitely don't sleep on him." And that's how I feel. Dan's going to destroy this game. Shouts out. Sorry if we spent too much time on the Lions, people. They're a really good team who choked in the poll. All right, Alexander, I'll do this next one here. The Carolina Panthers facing the Arizona Cardinals, two teams who are just, in my opinion, on opposite sides of the spectrum in my brain, but maybe closer talent wise on the field to a lot of people. Not to me. I see this as Arizona getting the line of 6.5 kind of shows that. But I just think that, like, there's no reason the Panthers are gonna win this game, and I don't really care about the spread talk on this. Cardinals are gonna win. Panthers are gonna be 0-2. The Bryce hype has already slowed down significantly. It's gonna continue to slow down. I love the pass rush. Josh Sweat might have a strip sack in this game, if we're being honest. I love Trey McBride in this game. Take his over in every way. I am all in on the Cardinals. That's my biggest preseason swing. And so far, we're 1-0. We're about to be 2 after playing two of the worst teams in the league. I get it. But give me the Cardinals this week. I'm going to start them in basically every fantasy league. I still have their defense from playing the Saints week 1. They had a couple of turnovers that were negated by penalties. I look for that to change this week. They'll get some turnovers against Bryce.
Okay.
Terrible.
Yeah, this line kind of surprised me when it came out. And that's because this is the same line Arizona had against the Saints. And me personally, I consider the Saints worst team in the NFL this year. And I think Carolina's a lot better than the Saints. So for the line to come out the exact same kind of threw me off. And that's the main reason I'm staying away from it, because Arizona barely covered against the Saints last week. That should have been a game they dominated. I get Kyler had the flu. I get that.
Yeah.
But that's still like a game you got to take care of business and just put it away. They just kept letting them hang around. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, this is just wild that the Saints are just hanging in here.
Yeah, the
And
Cardinals.
that's why this game just scared me. I mean, I think the Cardinals should win, but I think it's going to be closer than it should be.
I just don't like. I don't know how many points they're going to score, but no, the Panthers are terrible. They're going to lose. Yeah, like I said, there was a couple drives where it's like the Cardinals would get a stop, but then a drive would be extended from some kind of penalty or something, and then they couldn't get the second stop. So get it off the field the first time, and they'll be fine. I do want to say, let's go to conspiracy corner for a second. Allegedly, I know it is true you have to report any kind of ailment to a trainer, but allegedly Kyler had to use the restroom. It's like needed to go and went, and since he had to go at like an unauthorized time or whatever, they had to report that as like he's having like digestive issues, and that snowballed into he must be really sick if he can't even get out of the bathroom when he's supposed to be out there. So like I think the guy had a poop.
I don't know. He didn't look like he was running like himself. He was like jogging a lot of the plays.
Do you run like yourself when you got to poop a lot? I'm just saying, man. Just saying. Not my original take. I want to put that on the record. All right, so that is the full 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock slate, Alexander. So, yeah, here we go. Ready? All right, here are our Pig City primetime picks of the week. We have Sunday night, and we got a doubleheader on Monday night. Sunday night football, we have the Atlanta Falcons, Michael Penix, facing J.J. McCarthy, who for 3 quarters looked like he couldn't throw the ball, and for the 4th, he looked like he was born to do just the same. And speaking of born, a week that he has had a son, he will also get to play in a game. Shouts out to JJ McCarthy being a new father. I mean, that alone makes me want to pick the Vikings. But besides that, Alexander, how do you feel this game's going to be? As the Vikings are at home as 3.5 point favorites against the Falcons, who were very competitive against the Bucs a week ago.
Yeah, this one to me has the Atlanta. They look shaky in that game against Tampa Bay, and I feel like it got overlooked just because it was a close game. Where the Vikings, they looked shaky through 3 quarters, and it was like a big deal because it looked like the Bears were going to run away with it. But then the way the Vikings ended that game, it looked way better than Atlanta looked at any point in the game against Tampa Bay. And for that reason, give me the Vikings. I think the jitters are out. They're gone. JJ's going to come out. We're about to see this Vikings team full clicking, and they're going to cover the spread against Atlanta, and I'm fully confident in that.
Yeah, and people, don't get me wrong. I know he's super high on the Vikings this year, but I thought you were going to zig there. I don't know why. So sorry for that reaction. But yeah, give me the Vikings also. The Falcons last week, we talked about it in our notes from Sunday. Their short yardage situations were horrible. And I know that can be a little better play calling wise and personnel wise, but it ain't going to get easier against the Vikings. I promise you that. It's a 14-win ball club a year ago with still a very stout defense. And JJ's obviously going to feel a little more confident. I don't expect the Vikings to come out first quarter and start slinging it either. I think we maybe see it more second quarter than fourth, or maybe closer to halftime. I think O'Connell's going to trust JJ a little more, but he's not just going to just say, hey, go out there and sling it from the beginning, in my opinion. But he's not going to have to, because Atlanta kind of wants to play the same type of slow, grinded out, and Drake May looks like he's going to play, but he's obviously a little banged up, and that's a huge issue for Atlanta. And that's the biggest reason why I don't trust their offense to score enough to hang with the Vikings. So I agree with you. We're the same on that one. I'll take the Vikes -3.5.
And before anybody calls him out, he means Drake London. I know he said Drake May. He's just so high on the Patriots, he can't get him off his mind.
Yeah. Honestly, after I said it, I was like, wait, did I say Drake May? So, yeah. Drake May's not banged up. I hope he doesn't get hurt. I said earlier Drake May was going to run a lot. Drake London hopefully will get to run some. Yeah. Thank you for that. Listen, man, when you talk for a while, you say the wrong thing. I'll tell you this, Drake May will not be in this game. That is a guarantee. That's almost as much of a guarantee as I can make as a pick I made earlier in this pod. All right, Alexander. On you, brother. Take the lead off for this doubleheader. Don't forget, people, 2 games Monday night, 7 o'clock.
All right. Let's jump down to the Monday night segment of this docket, and it kicks off with Tampa Bay on the road against Houston. Houston is favorites at 2.5. Houston's defense looked amazing last week. The offense, it didn't look that great, but was it because the Rams defense looked that good? And then you had Tampa Bay, where it didn't look like the best Baker we've seen. He looked a little shaky at times, but when it mattered, he came through, threw a dot to Ibuka, and this game has Tampa Bay winning written all over it. So if I got them winning, of course I got them covering a 2.5 point spread. Like, give me that all day. Love Baker, love the receivers they have, and Bucky is probably going to have himself a little grinded out game, and it's going to be a good game to watch. But yeah, I like Tampa Bay in this one.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Houston's going to fix their offensive woes in this game against Todd Bowles. That's not going to happen. I know Bucs fans get frustrated with the guy, but I like the way his team plays, and I love the way Baker leads. Baker looked a little shaky game 1, but we know he'll bounce back. We saw the dot to Ibuka. We saw he caught his own shot. He said, I'm going to game this, and he did it. And I just want to say, this is a matchup, and might be the worst thing I've said this pod. This is a matchup that I wish we'd get to see in the postseason, but I know we won't because we can only see it in the Super Bowl. But I'd love to see these two teams play in a playoff atmosphere, not in a week 2 game. I just think that this is powerhouse defenses. These are both teams that have both winning their divisions. And so I don't devalue them by this, but I think this is going to be a messy, ugly, muck it up game. And that's what the Texans always want to do. But the Bucs just got more guys. Stingley is an absolute beast at corner. And I think, if he's fully locked on this could be really another big day for one of the Bucs players. And you just got to figure out who that's going to be. So I just think the Bucs win. Shouts out Tampa Bay. But I'm more excited for this game than caring about what my pick is. But in the spirit of this, I have already put on the Bucs, and I'm picking the Bucs.
Okay.
All right, brother, take us home.
All right. To round out the Monday night games, you have the Chargers going on the road against the division rival, the Las Vegas Raiders. And Vegas ended up giving the Chargers the spread. They got them at 3-point favorites. I forgot. I'm pretty sure it was 3.5, but now it's 3.
Yep.
But yeah, this one is one of those games. I've been touching on it all pod. It's a division rivals. It's gonna be close. But is it or is it? Because this could be, I think, the tell sign of what version of the Chargers we're gonna see. Is it the same old Chargers? They get a big win, and then they just kind of relapse in a game that they should take care of and put away and win. Could they choke this one? And then we're just yep, it's the same Chargers. We thought they were different. They're not. And then the Raiders, they looked really good. Their defense looked feisty. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Raiders a little bit because Geno's that dog. He's got that dog in him. And they're playing in a dome. I mean, I'm I'm pretty sure on one of our stuff you shared the Geno stat. Maybe you didn't. But Geno's just insane in a dome. Dude just goes off. He loves playing inside.
Mm-hmm.
He was born to play inside.
That's facts.
But with saying all of that, give me the Chargers at 3-point favorites. And I'm going to give you anytime touchdown. This is when you put it in there, this is where you're going to make the money. This is when you could bet on the side by itself if you don't want to put it with the other ones. Keenan Allen, anytime touchdown. He was born to be a Charger. It just didn't seem right when he was with the Bears. You saw it last week. Him and Herbert, they still got that connection. It's still there. He's going to be the red zone guy. He's going to get him a touchdown. He'll probably get him like 6 catches. Like, this is just a Keenan Allen. He's born to be a Charger.
I mean, you're going to pick him to get a touchdown every single game. That's what it feels like. Listen, I am not asleep on the Raiders, but Justin Herbert coming off his best game as a pro, probably almost played perfect against a defending Super Bowl losing team, but the Chiefs, who've been in Super Bowl the past 3 years, that identity's there. You know they wanted to win that game. That's the first time they beat them in like 7 games or 7 matchups. Sorry. Yeah, 7 games, 7 matchups, same thing. This is the only time you've talked about the division games being close for no reason that I kind of could see what you mean, but I can't visualize it. And I do have a Chargers weak spot. If you look back to last year, if you take out all my Chargers picks, I would have been much better. They continuously frosted me, not covering, being on the wrong side, and especially that playoff performance from Herbert. I'm still not over it. But I love the guy. One of my favorite players in the entire league. I love seeing Quentin Johnston it's crazy that like a guy can be an NFL player, have such a huge long stride and be dynamic, but like even a casual fan knows the name Quentin Johnston, just like, oh, he drops the ball. And he's here for the disrespect season. So he'll have a drop or two, but I like him in this offense a lot. I think Genty poses some problems for like the guys in the middle of the field, but I just don't think they have enough firepower to stay with them. So they can be feisty. They can be all of the above. Geno can throw. Yes, I agree. He's born to be inside, but I just think the Chargers in this spot, I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think they do cover, but I definitely think they win. They have a great kicker. Dicker the kicker shouts out, hook 'em. Best kicker in the league, not named Brandon Aubrey. So I'm just excited to watch this team, and a great, great way to end the week. We may be recording during this. I know our schedules, we might not get a record till Tuesday, but we'll either be recording during this game or it'll be the last game we watch before we go to bed of week 2. And I'm excited for it. Harbaugh versus Pete Carroll, rivalry renewed and also born at the same time. I don't know. But that pretty much does it for our primetime picks, and that also does it for our overall week 2 preview. So, Alexander, anything you want to add in or kind of recap? I think it was a great pod overall, except for, the Drake May flabbergastedness and this Commanders fan distracted me. I'll take accountability for both of those things.
Yeah, just to recap my Pig City primetime picks of the week. Y'all already heard the Thursday one. Went Green Bay. As we were recording, Green Bay covered, so we're 1-0 to start it. But my other ones are Minnesota, 3.5 against Atlanta. Give me Tampa Bay. They got to cover 2.5 against Houston. Then give me the Chargers at 3 against the Raiders. And then my anytime touchdown recap, I got Brees Hall. I got Kyron Williams. I got Derrick Henry. I got Christian McCaffrey. Told you feeling a little frisky, throw a little 2 touchdown out there. Then to round it all out, last week I gave you 4. This week I'm giving you 5. This is the wild one, the one that could make you the money. And it is Keenan Allen anytime touchdown.
I hope you win. That scares me. Yeah, my primetime picks, again, I also had the exact same, as Alexander would say, on the docket. And that would be the Vikings, Bucks, and Chargers. Vikes 3.5, Bucks plus 2.5, and Chargers minus 3. Gave you Green Bay. I gave you Tucker Craft. I told you to do whatever you can with it. But as a recap to something I said earlier in the pod, I just want to reiterate, if you're debating, like, I kind of want to trust these guys. I kind of want to follow them. The one pick you need to make for me, don't forget, people. Don't forget. Go back a little bit. And that is Denver, 1.5 point favorites against the Colts. So that's the main thing I have. My anytime touchdowns, I only have 2 from this slate. If you put it with Kraft, if you talked to me before, sorry I didn't give that earlier. We need to get those graphics out earlier, Jimmy. But it is Jamar Chase, George Pickens, and Tucker Kraft. So 1/3 of the way there. but put those two guys in. Let's have some fun watching ball, Alexander. Unfortunately, we'll recap it next week. We might not get to watch all the games together, but we'll be together by the time the Birds kick off. So, all right, everybody. That was a great episode. Alexander, you have anything you want to say? Would take us out?
Go Birds, baby.
Go
About to take
Birds.
it to the Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs fans, you can